Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about the Garfield movie. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. So, Garfield, this guy, y'all know who he is. He's one of the most recognizable characters out there in the world of pop culture. I mean, this guy is known for being known for a few things. He's orange, he hates Mondays, he loves lasagna, and he's lazy, like hella lazy. That's the Garfield character in a nutshell. And Garfield, he's been around for a long time, decades, since 1978, when like the first Garfield comic strip, debuted. And after that, it just exploded. I mean, Garfield's had like cartoons, movies, video games. Why are there so many Garfield video games out there? I don't know. um, but yeah, Garfield, he's a brand, he's a franchise. So obviously, brand name recognition is an easy pro, like obviously. So that's pro number one. Pro number two is usually I don't talk about like the voice cast of animated movies because usually I don't think they play a huge role in whether a movie does well or not. But here, the role is a bit bigger than usual. It's been more important than usual because Garfield is being voiced by Star Lord himself, Chris Pratt. And I remember when this was announced, and this was around the same time when Chris Pratt was announced as like the voice of Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie. And people were just making jokes. The internet was having a good old time, just being like, "What is this? Why is this? Like, is someone like just making like out of season April Fool's Day jokes? Is someone trolling us?" Having Chris Pratt do these, just voicing these characters, like, what is up with that? But with the Mario movie, that ultimately worked out. And the thing is, in the Mario movie, like when he voiced Mario, I mean the advertisements like the trailers, they kind of did him dirty. They kind of showcased like the worst um parts, but in the actual movie, I thought he was okay. I thought he was a decent Mario. He wasn't amazing or anything, but I thought he was all right. With the Garfield movie, part of me feels like this is more paychecky than even more paychecky than like Mario. But granted, I haven't seen like any of the trailers for this movie at all, so I don't know. But so you have Chris Pratt's Garfield. You also have Sam Jackson as Garfield's dad. I don't know if that's like canon to the comics or not. I have no clue, and I'm too lazy to look it up. Um, but he's in here too, I guess. So yeah, Chris Pratt, yeah, Samuel Jackson. Actually, I think there's more to the cast than that. You got Snoop Dogg as Snoop Cat. I needed a moment to just process that. Uh, this Nicholas Hoult, he's John Arbuckle. Okay, and I guess you got Ving Rhames. Nothing. No one else really that important. But yeah, I guess Chris Pratt's Garfield. I imagine that's some people are probably going to watch the movie just out of pure curiosity, just to see how he sounds as Garfield. I guess so. I guess I'm gonna label that as a pro. I guess more of a minor pro. Another pro is that it's Memorial Day weekend. Historically, it's a big one of the big weekends of the year. Not really the case for this year, but usually it's a good weekend and it's a way for movies to make a little bit more money because you have Monday being a holiday, and because of that, Sunday box office is a lot better than normal. So yeah, so you get to earn a little bit extra money. So yeah, so Memorial Day, I'm gonna label that as a pro. Another pro is that, with the lone exception of If, there's no direct competition for this. Furiosa is definitely not direct competition. And If is, but If came out first, and it just kind of, I don't know, it didn't set the world on fire. It just it just didn't it didn't land at the box office. So, and plus, since like that's a week old, Garfield is fresher, so it has a bit of an advantage because of that. And there won't be any family movies in the marketplace until Inside Out 2, and that's not till mid-June. So this movie has time to play out. It has time to survive. So I'm gonna label that as a pro. And I think that's it with pros. Yeah, I think that's it. So, cons. Oof. So reviews for this movie are no good. I know. What a surprise. um, it has a 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very much not ideal, but I'm very positive it's a big step higher than the live action Garfield movies. Like I'm at their scores were a lot worse, I believe. They had to be like in the teens, I think. Okay, Garfield 14%. Oof. 38% audience score. That sounds about right. And this is for the 2004 movie, by the way. And then Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, because they just had to make a Garfield 2. 12%, 43%, yeah, 38% is amazing in comparison to the live action ones. But its audience score and its cinema score is a little more concerning because it has an 82%, which is not great. Ideally, you want that to be like in the 90s, like a 90 and above. And its cinema score is a B plus. And as I'm looking, it's all the Garfield movies, the theatrical ones, they all have the same cinema score, B plus. All of them. Like that's so weird. Okay, but a B plus is not ideal for a family movie. Usually, family movies, I guess family, some people they cut them some slack. They're like, well, if it entertains the kids, then that's good enough. But I guess it didn't entertain the kids all that much, according to I guess to the audience perception. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, so word of mouth is no good. So I'm gonna label that as a con. Another con I can think of is that sure these movies are like almost 20 years old, but it's still they're kind of a stain on the Garfield legacy, and that's the live action movies from the mid early 2000s, the ones that had Bill Murray as the voice of Garfield. Like this is the first one that is will soon be 20 years old to the day. Just a couple more weeks, and then it'll be to the day. That's depressing, but yeah. So this came out in the summer of 2004, and Garfield was voiced by Bill Murray. There's a live action CGI hybrid movie. Those were the rage back then. I mean, you had like I know Scooby Doo that came out like several years prior to this, and then after Garfield, you had like Alvin the Chipmunks and Yogi Bear. Those movies were a plague. And with this, you know, that original Garfield movie, it did all right for itself despite having such a terrible reputation. It made like 75 million domestically, 200 million worldwide on a budget of 50 million. That's pretty good. And I do have to mention the fact that Bill Murray, apparently, he didn't know like okay, the story is Bill Murray like signed on to do like a Garfield movie because he thought one of the screenwriters was like Joel Cohen of the Coen brothers. The Coen brothers, No Country for Old Men, Fargo, True Grit, those Coen brothers, yeah. That's who he thought the script was written by. Apparently, but no. Turns out there's another Joel Cohen. And the only difference between the Joel Cohen, like their names, is the fact that one has an H and the other doesn't. So only difference. And the one who has the H is not the Coen brothers. Okay, not related to them. So as soon as he read the script and once he found out, he was probably just like, God, damn it. Well, too late now. Might as well do it. And in as you probably remember in Zombieland, where Bill Murray made his cameo as a zombie, well, as a fake zombie, but then he got shot and killed. Before he died, I forgot who asked exactly one of the characters, just like, do you have any regrets? And then he's just like, Garfield, maybe. And yeah, I just have to mention that. I have to mention both of those things because I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, Garfield the movie, bad reputation. And then they made a sequel 2 years later, 2006, and this one did terrible in the States. It bombed completely in the States, but it did well internationally. But still, it's no good. So Garfield, like the Garfield movie, has to deal with the stigma of two prior movies from like 20 years ago. It's kind of like how the Super Mario Brothers movie last year had to deal with the stigma of the live action film like that came like 30 years prior. So yeah, you gotta deal with that. So that's a con. I guess another con is obviously in the marketplace. It's so sad. It's pitiful. Like May is supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be like the start of summer. It's supposed to be all hyped and jazzed. And boy, that is not happening. Not at all. I mean, it's just ugh. I mean, Fall Guy bombed. If has just well, it started out like real slow, real sluggish. The only movie that's doing like better than okay, well, like the best of the bunch is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and even then, it's not like a huge hit or anything. So yeah, May is it's bad, and overall the box office environment is bad, and it's not going to get much better for a while. So yeah, so depressed market. I'll label that as a con. And I think that's it. So well, I guess I can mention Thursday previews. 1.9 million. I mean, it's slightly better than like If that was like 1.75, but still not great. But granted, I was expecting this to have high preview numbers anyway, so it's not a huge deal. And plus, technically, some kids are still in school. It won't be like a few weeks, then that problem will be no more. Like kids won't have to deal with school. So and Thursday previews will like really will shoot up as a result. But yeah, it's Thursday previews. They're neither good nor bad. So that's not even a con. It's more middle ground. So I'm gonna put it in middle ground. But yeah, so opening weekend, early numbers. You're saying this is gonna open like in the 20s, the mid 20s. I think like between 20 to 24 million, and it's 4 days, like 32 million, something like that. I guess I'm gonna go with the same number, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay, 20 to 25 for the 3 day. 4 day, 30 million plus. I guess about 30 million, maybe give or take like a couple $1 million. And its total, its legs, I'm not sure about its legs. I guess they'll be average. So maybe like between 70 to 80 million total. And yeah, that's it. That's it for Garfield. We got one more movie to discuss. It's the one that's just there. That's Sight. And then we'll be done for the weekend. So yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. We'll check out more videos like this. I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I made this year. You want to watch any of those videos from this year, the past few years, go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Um, I covered the Garfield movie like I believe a few times, maybe once. Garfield. I think it may have been more than once. Yes, it was twice. Um, First time was episode 146 where I talked about it alongside Joker 2. Well, I know Joker 2 didn't have like a title yet, but I just call it Joker 2. I still call it Joker 2 because the title, I'm not super sure how to pronounce it. I'll find out later. But for right now, I still call it Joker 2. So yeah, talked about Joker 2 and Garfield in the same video, which was just perfect. Um, and the second time I talked about it was episode 155, where I talked about Garfield alongside Magic Mike 3, The Karate Kid, remake, reboot, whatever that thing is, Craven the Hunter, Madam Web, and 65. Talked about alongside those. This was long before I knew what the hell the Madam Web movie was going to be and what the Craven movie was going to be. So, this is like before. This is like right after Morbius came out. I think I made this like in August of 2022. I think. Let me see. Am I right? Oh, it was in September. Okay. So this is like a little bit after the It's Morbin Time memes. And then the memes just spread to all the Sony movies. Um, but yeah, those are the two times I talked about the Garfield movies. So if you want to watch those videos or any other cancel episodes of me on the channel, all 247 of them, want to watch them all, want to binge them all, go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. May recap that won't be till between June 7th and June 14th. I'm not gonna like making that video because I'm gonna have to talk negatively about Fall Guy and Furiosa. I wish I didn't, but I have no choice because they're doing terrible. So yeah, but that'll be in a few weeks' time, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.